So we're going behind the scenes and behind the scenes.
Right when I wake up, feeling way too much, hoping I can.
Hey everyone, it's Lakshmi here and welcome to another episode of LakshmiBee TV and podcast series. Today I am super excited to bring to you a very dear friend to me, Sharna Lovell. She is the director of a wonderful foundation called Arts Care International. Her foundation specializes in taking care of the mental health and well-being of artists in the entertainment industry. Whether you're a leader in that space, an artist, a musician, performer, or a fashion designer like myself, if you're in a crisis or you're going through a really hard time or you need some assistance, they are the people that will be there to help you through that situation. This foundation has literally helped transform my life. I met these guys about 3 years ago and my life has never looked the same since then. So I know we're going through a really tough time right now in the current global crisis, and it has impacted so many industries and businesses all around the world. Particularly, it has hit super hard our entertainment industry and even impacted me and the business that I have. It is a real blessing to have people like this who are on the ground doing the work and helping people through those tough times, and I'm super excited to share them with you too. So of course we are in self-isolation at the moment, so I will be chatting to Sharna Lovell very soon over Zoom. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Hey,
Hey!
LakshmiBee. And we're talking about our coffee mugs because
Yes,
mine's been a bit like
we have
Lakshmi has a peacock.
the beautiful
mug.
peacock mug right here.
Beautiful, like she is.
We love our chai, so we're doing chai over Zoom today.
Yes. Yes, chai. Chai is appropriate for us.
I'm cheersing you through the computer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness, it's so good to have you, Sharna. I told my audience a little bit about you, and
Yeah.
I know we're in some pretty tough times at the moment, so it's so good to have you with us just to share a bit of your wisdom. And I've known you for about 3 years now, and the journey's been absolutely amazing. And you've been such a blessing in my life, so I'm super excited to share you with everybody else.
Oh my goodness, so much love. So good to be here.
Yay! How are you holding up at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's like crazy in the industry at the moment. You know, so many people have lost their livelihoods and gigs and events and things like that. It's been like, yeah, really heartbreaking for them. So I personally have been supporting them and, yeah, finding different avenues to make sure people are not feeling alone.
Yes, it's so important. I know because we work in the entertainment industry, I know it's hit a lot of people, but particularly our whole industry has been so shaken up, and I know a lot of people have lost their jobs and it's been really difficult. It's even impacted us as well. As you know, a lot of our clients go to events and these are the people we make the outfits for, and all that's stopped at the moment. So it's been a bit of an adjustment.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, yeah, finding different ways to do things and keep your energy and morale up as well during the middle of it.
So important, so important. And that's what I love about you guys, because you literally give tips on how to do that, especially in a time like this. Do you want to share with them a little bit about you and like what you do with Arts Care International?
Yeah, well, yeah, thanks, Lakshmi. Yeah, I mean, it's been like such a big journey and adventure for me and also our organization. You know, when I first started Arts Care, there was really nothing really there to support artists, and especially professional artists, which is our focus. People who are on all different spectrums of their career. And we started this organization to really, well, break social isolation, but also give practical tips and real life support when crisis hits. Suicide is such a big thing in the industry, and I know we can name very well-known people who have become victims of suicide, which is really sad. And I think it impacts everyone really as a society when you see these familiar faces on our TV screens, or the artists that we look up to really struggling with mental health and different issues that they face as creative people. So it was really my heart and my vision to create a real vessel to be able to provide that much needed support to reach people where they were at in the situations that they found themselves in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's huge. And in our everyday life, it's not something that we think about often, that these entertainers, the people who put smiles on our faces, and when we're bored or we want to just chill out and watch something funny or tune into a nice song, we forget, some of the hardships that these people go through in their own lives and how important it is to take care of their mental health. And even for me, like all those years ago when I was going through my anxiety, depression and suicidal thoughts, like it meant so much to me to be able to have an actual foundation that was tailored towards the needs that I had. And I had been to other counselors in the past, and none of that had worked for me because it is such a niche industry with its own unique issues. So you guys have been such a massive blessing in that area. So it's really good. I love what you guys are doing, and it's helped me so much. I can't speak highly of it enough. So I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing. And you mentioned that you had started a new program, Soul Care, which I saw you launch recently on Instagram. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so soul care is really just tips about how to look after our soul. I think, especially in this industry, we look after our physical appearance, and even our mental health is a big thing, but we really forget about the soul, about who we are. And I think during times of isolation and, what the present challenges that we find ourselves in at the moment, it can be very easy sometimes to either push things away and not want to deal with things, or sometimes things come up. It's really funny when you're in social isolation and the things that you process and reflect on.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you've found this yourself, Lakshmi, how, you just suddenly become more aware of things.
Yes. It's so true. It's like, especially when you're creative and you're so used to having like a team around you of inspiring people, and you're all in that creative space, like we can do this or we can create this, and like what about if we do a bit of this? And then when you're in that state of isolation and you don't have that, even for me, it's like all of these crazy just thoughts started coming through. And even though I know my purpose, when this situation first hit, I was lost. I was just like, oh my goodness, like, who am I again? It was really crazy, and I worry for other people who might not be at that point, who may not know their purpose and who don't have the tools to be able to reach out. And so I know when this first happened, I was so lucky to have known you guys. So I could pick up the phone, I called you straight away. We had a really good debrief, and just before the lockdown got crazy, I'm glad we got to meet up really quickly before everything got shut down.
We made it happen.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. But even doing things like this has been really good. What are some of your top tips that you could share for someone who's at home right now, especially in our industry, who may be struggling mentally, or what to do next?
Yeah, there's so many things that we could touch on this. I think one of them is just watching the thoughts that come into our mind. I think it's very easy in these times to try and dwell on things that might not be helpful and can be a bit negative for us. So I think keeping those voices in our head in check can be very important, and feeding our mind with things that are going to be uplifting and helpful to us, because there's a lot of things on the news at the moment, and even on social media it can be quite scary.
I had to tune out for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, I hear parents say that they are very careful with their children, with what they let their children to watch on on the socials and on the TV. And, I was thinking about that, and I was like, we're very careful with our kids and our children, but why don't we treat ourselves like that sometimes?
That's so true.
Yeah, it's like sometimes we almost need to do a ban on ourselves. We have to be our best supporter and our best like shielder of things that we allow into our head and into our space as well.
I love what you said about fill your mind with things that are good, things that deserve praise, because that's going to make a huge difference. And so, as you mentioned, like switching off from the social media and the news, which is something that I've done. And especially, it was very hard for me because I'm quite active on social media. And so to shut down, I found that a little bit difficult, but it was very necessary just to get back into that good headspace. So I've been doing things like chilling with my cup of tea and a nice book.
Oh, wow, that's a big book.
This is a really good one. I've been showing this around lately. It's by Jesse Duplantis.
Oh,
it's
wow.
so good. And it's all about focusing your thoughts to change your life. So really good material, like a nice book or even a podcast. I've been sharing with some people that I know, like a very positive YouTube video, podcast, reading positive things, or I do a lot of affirmations from the Bible, from Psalms. That has been really helpful.
Yeah, it's poetry, isn't it? That's actually poetry in songs originally.
Right. And it's just so uplifting, and it just gives you that extra strength that you need in some of those moments. Is there anything else that you could recommend people could do at home after they switch off some of those distractions?
Yeah. And I think you nailed it right there. Is that I like really using this time for what it is. And so sometimes it's even just being aware of our emotions. Like, I think sometimes in this society, we just want to like cut things off because they're too difficult to deal with. So really using this time to really reflect and even go deep, and even sharing that with a trusted other person as well. Like, really reflecting on why do we actually do what we do? And how do I and really naming those thoughts and emotions as well. Like, I think it's interesting when you're in times of chaos and crisis, you feel things, but you don't exactly know what you're feeling. But actually there's so much power in actually naming those things. Like, well, I'm actually feeling fear now. And so what does that look like, and how do I overcome that? So, and something that I find really useful for, and I'm just going to get it.
Okay.
Is journaling.
Oh my goodness. I was literally about to say that. Yes, journaling. Yeah. Yes. I have my other journal here as well. I have 3 journals actually. And I'm so glad you said that, because I actually did this exercise last night, which is what you had just mentioned, is that acknowledging those thoughts and those feelings and getting it all out on paper in a journal. It's like releasing all that toxicity, and there's something so powerful about putting pen to paper. And I had a huge revelation last night that made me feel so much better today, all from journaling.
Yeah, mine says blah blah blah. So you just like blah 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 right out into the pages.
Mine has a Bible verse on it. It says, "Ask and you will receive, so that your happiness may be complete."
Oh, so sweet. That's so you, Lakshmi. So you, such a bundle of light.
That was actually from my mom.
Oh, we love your mum. Your mum makes good treats. Yeah.
Well, she's been keeping us happy, making us some delicious, healthy vegan treats, little chocolate truffles, cookies. So it's been all right.
You can eat them while you're journaling.
Exactly.
That's right. With your tea, or if you're a guy, you can, I don't know, what do guys do when they journal? I know guys do journal, actually.
Me too. Actually, my good friend, he does journaling as well. So I was pretty surprised. I didn't know a lot of guys did journaling as well. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a really good way to just process those thoughts, and no one has to read them.
Absolutely.
So it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, those are some amazing tips. And I feel like just those small tips alone put into practice would do a huge shift in you if you're feeling really low. 100%.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Yeah. And yeah, and I think also remembering that this time, I kind of like, I've been just reflecting on what's happening right now, and I kind of feel like we're in a cocoon. It's like, yeah, like we're caterpillars in a cocoon.
Oh my goodness. I felt exactly the same. I was literally thinking of like a butterfly, like just starting to emerge out of the cocoon, like in this really nice rest, kind of growing and reflecting place before it like busts out in all its
Yeah.
colors.
And there's like a whole process that a caterpillar has to go through before it becomes a butterfly. And sometimes that's even turning into goo, like turning into mush. And it's actually sometimes like it's actually really cool if you actually research like the process of metamorphosis from caterpillar to a butterfly. You actually see that in-between part is actually it's quite disgusting, the in-between part.
That's so
But it's actually really
interesting.
important. Like that's actually important to shed the old self to go into that new self. And so,
Right. Oh,
uh,
that's so good. It's so good. I felt the same last night. One of the words that came to me was that it's like the death of an old life, going through this crisis process, as you said, like the cocoon. And it's like getting ready to transform into that new being. And that's literally how I'm looking at this situation now. And it's completely turned things around.
yeah, that's really cool. And see, that's that processing and the shifting of mind, the way you think about things, and our soul, the way we want to transform ourselves in the midst of it. Because we can't control. I think that's another thing, as humans and also as creatives, sometimes we're born to create, aren't we? Like we want to try and make things, and that has an element of control to it. But with things and situations like this, we can't control it. Like I know for me, I just want to be able to fix it right now. But when
I
is
know
it
I'm
done?
the same.
Yeah,
It's so hard.
exactly. But it's also that's part of the journey of it, realizing some things are just out of our control, but it's our perspective of how we're going to deal with that lack of control. And yeah, it's a very interesting process.
That's so amazing, Sharna. And I know you work in so many different diverse industries and you're connected to some incredible people and organizations all around the world that you've been able to help. Can you share with us a couple of stories of some people that you have been able to reach in times of crisis and help out?
Yeah, I'm like I'm privileged in my job. I get to see people at their best and the top of their career, but also in some really low moments. And one of those was I was called into a situation with a professional opera singer, actually. And she was at the top of her career performing around the world. And she had an operation because she had some nodules on her throat, and the operation went really badly, and as a result she actually wasn't able to sing anymore, and it was really distressing for her, and as well as the people around her who were in that particular show with her, because I mean that was her career and she was just really at the not even at her peak, and so there's so much grief and loss associated with that, and as a result, there was a lot of, even she had been threatened to commit suicide because it hit her that hard. So that's one example, and I think that's like every singer's worst nightmare, actually, not to be able to have a voice, to be able to sing. And so I get called in for lots of areas like that. Another situation that I remember is actually a mother calling me, actually waking me up in the middle of the night, because she was in the US, and she was frantic on the side of on the phone to me because her daughter, who is actually only 16, had come over for a modeling shoot, and they had put her in some accommodation, and it was actually really unsafe for her, and she found herself in a situation where we had to actually get the police in, and then after that support her through kind of what that would look like for her and as a female in the industry. And it was quite a big wake up call for her, and also quite difficult for her parents as well, because they were so far away. And I'm always getting phone calls as well from parents as well, not really sure how to support their kids who are thrown often into the limelight, or thrown into situations that they might not be adequately prepared for, or can get quite a shock for. And yeah, also, I'm always getting calls about, in suicide. I think that's always a really hard one, through to really high highs and low lows, which can really cause, especially in creative people, I think, they can find themselves to be quite isolated. So I had one situation where we were able to get this person the help that they needed into a support. They were quite actually isolated. So we're able to bring them into getting the right support to them, which happened to be, I just felt to give this person a phone call, and I didn't actually realize that they were literally with the tablets in their hand, about to, I'm going to cry, literally about to contemplate life. And I was just at that moment managed to just reach out to them, and they wouldn't have never have really actually picked up the phone, but because I had that relationship with them, I was able to kind of just touch base with them at that moment, and it literally saved their life.
Oh, wow. That's, man, it's situations like that. I mean, you hear so many stories like this, and even using my own life as an example, having faced some of those situations myself, I always feel like if only we could have more organizations that had the resources and the time and the support to be able to be there for people who are in those situations, which is why Arts Care International means so much to me, what you guys are doing, that you are there for people in those places, and you were there for me when I was in that place, and it was such a blessing. And that's why, we need more support in these areas. And if you're a sponsor out there and you're watching this video right now, you can actually donate to Arts Care International. I'll also leave a link down the bottom. The work they do is absolutely incredible. They're literally saving lives. Please, anything, even if it's something small, every little bit helps. So thank you so much, Sharna. So we'll link that down the bottom as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Before we clock off, for anyone that is watching, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram page, and it is arts_care. I don't know if you can see, it's back the front, but yes. So Instagram is a really good way to get us. So that's arts_care. Also our website, artscare.com, and we've also got an email address there as well. So join us on our socials, send us a message. We'd love to assist and help you any way we can, whether that's connecting you into a community of creative people, or having a phone Zoom chat. I'm a face-to-face person.
Me too.
I'm always happy to do phone calls, but I also love being able to have face-to-face contact, even if it's through Zoom. So one of our team we have a lovely team who are all super friendly, and they'd love to chat to you. Or we also do workplace support as well. So if you're in the arts and entertainment industry, and you have a group of creatives that you are trying to support, we have trained professionals that can come alongside you and really give that emotional support to not only help you as the director of the company, but also come alongside your staff and the artists that you work with, because we're all about well-being. We want people to be well and healthy and strong to be able to achieve their dreams and their goals, and your dreams and the goal for your organization and company. So I've worked with, fashion weeks around the world, and film sets and pop conventions, all sorts of things. So we have a lot of experience in this area. So we'd love to come alongside to provide someone who's trained specifically for your workplace and your people as well. So.
Oh, yeah. That's so good. And absolutely, like, it's just times like this, especially when we're in a lockdown, like, I know human interaction is so important, and we're very blessed to be able to have Zoom and to do these face-to-face. So thank you so much, Sharna, for providing that for other people. I know it's changed my life, and I know it's going to change a lot of other people's lives as well. So I will link all your details, all the Arts Care International details below or around this video. So anybody who needs that or wants to speak to Sharna and her team, just click there, and someone from her team or Sharna will help you where you are at and where you are.
Oh, wow, thank you. And if anyone also, we're also looking for volunteers as well. So if you've got some skills in technology or something to help us as well, start to build some online stuff or creative flair, also reach out to us as well, because that would be really helpful too. And we're always looking for sponsors too. So yeah.
It's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Thank you so much, Sharna. It's so good to see you.
Oh, thank you, Lakshmi. I mean, I'm just so proud of you and everything that LakshmiBee is doing. Like, you guys are just like brilliant. You and your mum, like, I love seeing the journey and not only where you are, where you're going, but also who you are as a person. And so I just want to really affirm you, Lakshmi, that that you're the real deal. So it's such a pleasure to know you.
Thank you. Likewise. You guys, oh my goodness. You're a blessing from heaven. Like, on and on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, awesome.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Right when I wake up, feeling way too much, hoping I can work my way around.
There we have it. I hope you were able to pick up some really useful tools to get through this tough time that we're all facing at the moment. And of course, you can find Sharna and her team at Arts Care International in the links below this video. And to donate to this wonderful foundation, the link for that will also be down the bottom. If you would like to see more videos just like this one, please send me a message. Thank you all for watching another episode of LakshmiBee TV and podcast series. I hope that you are safe and well wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.